Hello everyone! In this video we're going to be building a Victorian house in Britechester inspired by the new Storybook Nursery kit. I really want this to be a perfect pastel Victorian, and for some reason I didn't really consider any other color scheme other than pink and white. I think it was because I really wanted to use the windows from Strangerville, which I really wanted to use for the longest time, but I think this is actually the first time that I am using those. I think maybe they could be interesting to use in a very tiny house, but I hadn't found the opportunity to really use them in a real build. And I really wanted to use also these columns and spandrels. The doors are so beautiful, and I also wanted to use the railings and everything Strangerville. I didn't use the dormers though, which I still would really like to use them in some other house. But at first I was thinking that I was going to use these windows with the shutters, but I decided to instead have this on the side of the house, and in that area I actually made some bay windows. I also really loved how these very tiny windows looked on the top floor. At the moment it looks a bit strange, but I ended up breaking up that wall with a couple of chimneys, which was interesting because I ended up using the space in the chimneys on one of the sides and I didn't use it in the other, but I only actually included one fireplace. So the side with the fireplace is the one that doesn't have the real chimney, and the other one that looks more real on the upstairs is actually doesn't have a fireplace. So yeah. I am using this roof trim from For Rent, which has some scalloped edges that look so beautiful and magical, and you could find it in an illustrated children's book. Anyway, I really wanted to use this brick so that it would match the stairs and the foundation. I normally don't know what to do about foundations because I'm not used to foundations looking like such a different texture, but I think that here it worked well, and I also decided to change the back porch a little bit. I made it slightly smaller, I made it narrower, and I actually only ended up getting a games table in there, and I think I got a bonsai next to it. So it's just a very tiny space, and it has a different door too, and the stairs are actually to the side. I unfortunately wasn't able to get a whole pathway leading up to there because the slot is only a 20 by 15. But I think that the size of the house is pretty nice, and the front yard does actually have a few things in it. But now we're moving inside and we're going to be working on the floor plan. I cut out all of the footage of me figuring out the upstairs because it took a very long time, and actually this house took me way longer than I was expecting it to. But I think that what I ended up keeping in the video makes a lot more sense. I actually ended up doing this kitchen twice. The first time I did something very similar to this, but I was just going back and forth with the cabinets, so I just decided to get rid of everything, and I decided to use this stove instead. It looks pretty similar to the color of these counters, and I actually discovered that it matches the green pretty well, and the yellow not perfectly, but it kind of does match it. But I decided to get this range hood. It got some new swatches, but I used one of the swatches that it always had, and I also got the cabinets from Parenthood instead because I thought that they were more normal, I suppose. The ones from Garage Living had little curtains and clutter pieces and stuff, and they just weren't convincing me entirely. I actually had some trouble placing some of the clutter because it just decided that I couldn't place it in certain areas. I got that a lot with counters, so I'm going to submit a thing so that they know that this is a problem, because I kept getting that issue and some of the counters would just delete themselves, especially corner counters. So that was a bit annoying, and I just got a very small little kitchen table so that you could also eat in there. And this dining room is a very, very simple space. Actually, one of the chairs isn't accessible because of these little shelves, but I filled those with these plates from Snow Escape and from Home Chef Hustle, and I actually got a decorative plate from Parenthood, and I think that with the chandelier it looked pretty nice. The chandelier is a bit too high up, but if you're using short wall height, it is a bit too big, so I don't know. I feel like there should be a version of that with a longer chain or something. But that's basically the dining room, and I think that's it. It's okay with the rounded table. I think that's what filled this space the best. But here in the living room, I'm using a very large fireplace and these couches from Discovery University. I always really liked these pastel swatches that they have. I don't think that I had ever used this green swatch that I am using here, and it somehow pairs perfectly with this rock from Growing Together. I also decided to use the coffee table from the Crystal Creations pack. I really like that it has glass so that you can actually see the rock that is underneath it. And then behind it I got the new Reaper's Rewards gramophone, the one that you can use to summon Grimm, and I am so excited about that event. I'm going to build so much with the things that it comes with once I get them, because I think that you can already get them through the gallery, but I really want to just actually get them through gameplay. That sounds really exciting to me. And yeah, that gramophone is going to get so much use. I think it's really cute. I like that it has this kind of pastel swatch, and it also has a few darker swatches, and it looks pretty vintage, which I really love to include vintage pieces in my houses. And I am just going to be cluttering up this display case from Paranormal with some stuff. I always struggle when I am filling that one in, because I think that these spaces are a bit too tall, but you can only slot tiny things into it. So yeah, it's just it took me a very long time to find stuff to actually put in it, but I think that it's also good that you cannot really see what is inside it, so it doesn't really matter that much. But then I just added a table to the entryway, and I found these books which I thought would work perfectly here on top of this fireplace. They are from Lovestruck and they are very cute, and I think that's going to be mostly it for this downstairs space. I'm very glad that I was able to fit a chess table and also a little infant playmat. And then we're going to be moving upstairs. I decided to use a different wallpaper. This one is from the base game, and the one that I was using downstairs was from Vampires. And I am bringing up the same wood flooring from Realm of Magic. I don't think that I had ever used this white swatch, but I think that it works perfectly with this kind of build. And you can see that we're going to be having 3 bedrooms. One is for a teenager, the other one is the main bedroom, and we also have a nursery, which I am really excited about. I think that it's really cute. Next to the staircase, you have this small office area, which has a computer and a few other skill building items. I think that you can have different sims living here. Maybe they could be writers, or maybe they could be college professors or something else. But I think that having a computer actually gives you a lot of versatility for careers. And I decided to have some stuff for cross-stitching and for knitting. I don't actually have any of the knitting baskets, but I have some like knitting clutter, which I think looks pretty cute, and you always end up having to have knitting in your Sims inventory to actually use it. But yeah, I was thinking that maybe these Sims like to knit stuff for their baby, or I think that there's plenty of space if you would want to include some cross-stitching hoops. This is a very fancy place, but it's also very cute, and I think that cross-stitching would look very nice in a few of the corners. I didn't fill every inch of wall space, which is something that I sometimes struggle a bit to do. For example, here in the nursery, I decided to only have this beautiful wallpaper, which it's very detailed, but since it's monochromatic, I think that it is still pretty usable and it doesn't really clash with anything else that you might have in there. And I decided to mostly use this stuff from that kit, but I also decided to have this rug from Cottage Living. I was going to use one of the bunny swatches, but then I forgot. This rose swatch really fits with this space, I thought, so I decided to just have that. I have an actual toy chest in the hallway, but I decided to have this fake one in here. It's just decorative, and I also decided to have the bassinet in case you were going to play with a newborn. So there's space for the crib and the bassinet, and then when the baby grows up, there's still enough space for a toddler bed, and then it can also become a single bed with no problem. So I thought that was very useful, and I really loved how this little shelf area came out. I was trying to have small animals and toys that looked like the animals that were in that beautiful picture from Cottage Living. And I tried to have a dresser in this corner, but it wasn't really working. So I tried to just have this shelf and the diaper bag next to it, while underneath it, just on a nightstand. But eventually I decided that I preferred to just use the chimney area with an archway so that you could have some sort of actual closet. So I decided to flip around the changing table and the shelf, and I just decided to have everything that I had in the other corner just inside of it, but I ended up not keeping the little side table. I think I could have kept it, but I decided to actually have it on a platform. I don't really know if that was the best idea, but I kind of liked it, so it was different and it looked a bit more seamless with the wallpaper, so that's what I decided to keep. You could of course just undo that if you would prefer and just have the nightstand in there instead. And then I just got a little cat plush, and then we're going to be moving into the bathroom. This is the largest bathroom in the house. There's just 2 bathrooms in here, this and the ensuite. I wasn't able to have a bathroom downstairs, sadly. But this is the only one that I'm going to be decorating on video because the other one is smaller and this one took me quite a long time. But since I was having the other one be pretty similar to this one, I just have it on the screenshots. And this bathroom was where I most struggled with that counter issue that I was telling you about. So I didn't have that much clutter in here because it just kept getting deleted, or the counter was getting deleted, and it was just so annoying. So I just have the shelf in here so that there's some more space for any clutter and storage. And I also got a little plant in the corner. I didn't get a shower in this bathroom, but there's a shower in the other bathroom. So it's faster for your Sims to shower than take a bath, but there's somewhere to actually bathe that child. And now you can see that I have already decorated that bathroom, I just didn't record it, and we're moving into this teenager's bedroom. This is kind of a pastel goth bathroom, which I really loved. I think it's really cute and it really works perfectly with the stuff from high school years and the wallpaper from Crystal Creations. I include another one of those gramophones, and I also include that same computer that I was using in the hallway. But I also have this Grimm's guitar that I thought was perfect for this style. I also include another one of these roses, which has some updated swatches. We got those from when we got Lovestruck, and I think that this is very cute with that vampire lamp that I am using everywhere. I'm using the floor lamp version of it mostly, but I think that it works perfectly in this room, this other version of it. And I just really love the pastels that I am using here. They don't really look scary or anything, but I really love having all of these skulls in the bed, and I actually have these kind of creepy doll from Paranormal. I included the same stool that I was using in the hallway, and I included another one of those stuffed animals from the new kit. And then I just added this beautiful haunted house picture and some sconces with bugs, which I thought were just perfect. And then in the main bedroom we have this very green and pink space, which I think is really cute. I am using this bed from Discover University, which I really love actually. It's a bed that has really grown on me. At first I wasn't super excited about it, but now every time I get to use it I just think that it's amazing. I do, however, wish that it had a few more swatches, but I really love how it looks in here. And I also really love how these curtains from the new kit and this wallpaper from Cottage Living have the same green basically. I am using another swatch of that same rug that I have downstairs, and I just included that rocking chair, the custom trunk from Lovestruck, and just normal bedroom items, just some clutter here in the nightstands. I am using the same painting that I used in the dining room. I think that these roses are very cute. They can be a bit creepy because they're from vampires, but they can also be just really beautiful. And I like how they are arranged so that you can have like a curved bed underneath them or something with that kind of shape. And I think that it just works perfectly. I include those frames with babies here as well because I think that's a very good item, and I think that it's one of the more versatile items actually in that kit. I think you can have it in many different rooms. You could have them in the parents' bedroom or in the living room, the way that I have them here. And then we're just going to be working on some landscaping outside. I just made a very simple landscaping. I was thinking that this house would be the kind of place that you would see in like an actual storybook, just an illustrated children's book. And so I think that normally you don't have like too many elements sometimes in those gardens, so I just wanted to have a few flowers. And I also include these functional planters, and I also have some gardening stuff, just decorative stuff next to it. And in this porch area I just added a chair and an easel. I think that maybe they just paint as a hobby. They may not be artists, so I didn't use anything from the new Artist Studio kit. And then we're just going to be adding that games table that I mentioned and some outdoor lighting. And I think that after that I just get some terrain paint and some finishing touches, and that's going to be it for the video. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm going to have this in the gallery, and I actually did playtest this, so you should be able to use it with no problem. My ID is Veranio, and I will also have that link down in the description, in case that's easier for you to find it. But yeah, I'm just going to be adding this little stone pathway leading up to the second gate that I have in this space. I forgot to mention that I actually have a wedding arch leading into the house above the other gate, but that's still functional, of course. I also actually got the mailbox from Nifty Knitting. It's kind of almost too cute, and it doesn't look very practical because it has a lot of yarn stuff on it, so if it rains it could get really gross. But I think that it fit the style of this house. I also got a trash can, and I actually forgot to include a fire alarm, so when I was playtesting this my Steam died, but I did remember to include it before I uploaded it to the gallery. Actually, maybe the version that I am going to be uploading actually has the on of that sim. I'll try to get rid of that before I actually do that. And yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Thank you again so much for watching. I am really looking forward to building some more autumnal and more scary houses once that we are actually in October. I hope that you stay tuned for those. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.